Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are and when you're watching. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Sandra with Ever Changing Life, clearing energy clutter, mind, body, soul, and home. Today, our topic is the devil you know. This came to me because my daughter actually mentioned it one day. I said to her, I don't know why I keep doing this. And she said, Mom, it's because you're comfortable. She said, it's not because you don't know better. She said, you just know what you're going to get when you go do that thing. So you keep doing it because you know what you're going to get. It's the devil you know. And I went, oh, right. Because as smart as I am, there are always people who are smarter, and we think differently at different times. That is one of the really, really cool things about being in a group, being in a tribe, being in a community, whichever word you choose to use. And there's always good and bad in every situation. There's never just one thing. We can't have good without bad. The bad shows us what good is. So we do need to have a balance of both. Doesn't mean we have to have more of each or each thing. It just means we need to recognize that for every good thing there is a bad thing. And when the bad things happen, we need to recognize that there is a good thing. So there is balance in the world. But back to the devil you know. So we often do things without even recognizing that they're not good for us because we know them, and we know we're not comfortable doing them anymore. We know we are not probably supposed to be doing them anymore, and we know there are better ways to do it. But we know this way. We know what we're going to get when we go to visit that person who annoys the crap out of us. We know they're going to annoy us, and we're okay with that. We know what we're going to get, so we keep doing it. We know if we eat that popcorn with slathered in butter, we're going to get heartburn, but we do it anyway because we know what we're going to get and we enjoy the taste. So the devil you know really is a case of paying attention to why you are doing what you're doing, and recognizing that if you're going to be uncomfortable, maybe you should be uncomfortable for the greater good, for your greater good. It's not just about other people's greater good, it's about your greater good. I just see Elizabeth popped up and said, I know what you're talking about. It's the times when we go to that function because we know who's going to be there. It's going to be more comfortable for us, even though we're going to be uncomfortable. It's for when we give you some help, Elizabeth. What are some other times? It is when we have that family function and we know that our uncle is going to be acting up and we know he's going to make us extremely mad, yet we put ourselves in that position anyway because it's the devil we know. Now, discomfort is something that if we get used to being uncomfortable, that's when the magic happens. That's when the things happen that we do not expect. And that's when we get the opportunities that we wouldn't have had otherwise, because being comfortable actually holds us back. And being comfortable is just fear rearing its ugly head. Most things that stop us in our tracks are fear related. So I'd really like to tap a little bit on fear today. And I do realize I do a disservice to tapping. Now, tapping itself is a great stress reliever. It's great for on the go. It's great to help calm you down in the moment. That's not the only thing it can do. Tapping can actually help you permanently relieve the stress that's being caused by past traumas. it can actually help you to remove the emotion behind the thought that is causing you the grief. It's not the thought. The thought itself is not a big deal. And I'm going to explain this really quickly. I was watching a reality show the other day with my neighbor. It's not my thing, it's her thing. She wanted to watch the reality show, so I said, okay, fine, let's do it. So we're watching this reality show, and I think it was The Bachelorette. So there's a bachelor on there, and he's falling in love with the bachelorette, but he realizes he has feelings for another woman. So he says to the camera, he says to the crew, he says, you know what? I have to look after this. I have to take care of this before I can move on with this other woman. And my neighbor says, oh, that's great. Like, what a wonderful guy. He is so stand up. Like, he's going to take care of his business. Like, that's a really great guy. So he leaves the show. He goes to see his other friend, discovers that there's feelings. So he comes back to the bachelorette and he says, I am so sorry. I have started having these feelings, and I wanted to make sure that I was able to move ahead with you free and clear, but I still have these feelings, and so does my other partner. So I really think I need to bow out of this before we get going any further. Well, my neighbor then reacted 5 minutes later to the same situation because someone was crying. Because the bachelorette was now crying and upset, she said, well, what a jerk he is. And I'm thinking, wow, it's got to be your thought. It just has to be your thought that created the emotion that is now making you angry. And it was the thought that, oh, what this great guy, oh, I feel so warm and fuzzy for him. So the thought created the emotion. So our thoughts create our emotions. And when we create those emotions, it's the emotions we act on. So I want to tap a little bit on the fear of moving forward, because moving forward is not just about creating a whole new life. It's about recognizing what you are going to be able to do in every day. It's not about quitting your job and moving to a new city. It's not about getting rid of your spouse. It's not about finding a new love. It's about how you live every day. So we're going to start at the top of the head. For those of you who have not tapped with me before, just follow along. You can check out my other video on how to tap. So we're just literally going to tap on the fear. Whatever the fear is, doesn't matter what it is. We all have fear of some kind. Being uncomfortable is fear. So we're just going to tap on the fear. Feel the emotion and just tap on it. Wherever it is in your body. Is it in your stomach? Is it in your chest? Is it in your head? Is it in your lungs? Do your legs feel heavy? Just tap on the fear. Wherever it is in your body, just focus on it. If it moves, move with it. Just tap on the fear. Just tap on the fear. Just tap on the fear. Now, in the few minutes we have together, I cannot express how wonderful this tool is, because it can actually help people with severe trauma, can actually help people with those thoughts of childhood issues that they have not dealt with yet, or that have been plaguing their life. My childhood issue was being abandoned. My mother did not leave me on a doorstep. She left me with my grandparents, and that had a profound effect on me. Even though I understand as an adult, I still feel it. It took me until I was 35 to be able to actually move away from my parents. I lived within 45 minutes of my parents for 35 years because I didn't have the courage to move away. I was afraid. And fear is the basis for 99% of what's going on with us. So just tap on the fear. Wherever that fear is, just tap on it. Think about it, feel it. When that fear stops you, recognize that you get to control it. You're the one who controls the fear. You are the one who is going to help move past that fear. It's all up to you. And a tapping practitioner like myself can help you move ahead. We hear things that you don't hear. We see things differently than you see them. Talking to anyone, speaking out loud. Don't hold it in your head. Speak it out loud, no matter how foolish it seems to be. Speak it out loud. Hearing it, just you hearing it out loud, can help change how you see it. Because when it's stuck in our head in that loop, we're hearing it differently. We're feeling it differently. And it's how we feel it. So back to my neighbor who had that reaction. She had 2 different reactions in 5 minutes to the same situation. That was pure emotion. Her thought caused the emotion. It's our emotions that cause us these difficulties. It's how we feel. So if you're afraid, just tap. Tap on the fear. Let that fear go. Now with that, I'm just going to let you continue tapping if you need to. And you can tap later if you need to. And if you need some help with sorting through some of these difficulties, that's what I'm here for. That's what I do. And I'm so glad you joined me today, Elizabeth, and anyone else who will be joining later. Thank you so much for watching my videos. And on that note, I'm just going to leave you with a quote that death is a great loss, but a greater loss is when life dies inside you while you are still alive. And that's no place to live. So take chances, tell the truth, learn to say no, laugh until your stomach hurts, dance, even if you're bad at it. Pose stupidly for those photos. Be childlike. Love like it is the first time. And remember, the only thing that can stop you is you. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Sandra with Ever Changing Life, clearing energy clutter, mind, body, soul, and home. I do hope you enjoyed this episode and have a great day.